Women and girls of all ages need and deserve access to fair competition without the threat or concern of male athletes taking our spots. During my last season at Wyoming, my team was punished with 2 losses for refusing to play against a male athlete on an opposing team, an injustice that ultimately kept us from competing in the Mountain West Conference tournament. I was stripped of the chance to play my final collegiate matches because we faced a situation no woman should ever have to face. Either compete against a team rostering a male athlete on a women's scholarship, robbing us of fair and safe competition, or forfeit the rest of our season. No female athlete should ever be put in such a position. Women work hard to win, to improve, and to be their best. We deserve to compete against athletes whose biology matches our own, not against a male standard. We deserve to compete with integrity, safety, and the confidence of knowing we're competing on a level playing field against other women. I am now suing the Mountain West Conference alongside 5 women from other universities to ensure this never happens to the next generation of female athletes. While it may be too late for me to finish my career at Wyoming on the terms my team earned, it's not too late for the young girls coming up behind us. I'll stand boldly and unapologetically for the truth, especially when it comes to protecting women's sports. Every cell in our body bears witness to our God-given identity. No scientific or medical intervention can alter the DNA and biology that define whether we are male or female. It is fundamentally unfair, unsafe, and a violation of women's rights to force female athletes to compete with or against biological males. My stance is rooted in evidence-based facts. Natal males have inherent physical advantages in women's sports, regardless of how they identify or what treatments they undergo. Sex is determined by birth, biology, and genetics, not by feelings or, not by feelings or identities. It's time for policymakers to take a stand and ensure that women's sports remain a space where girls can learn that they deserve fairness and the opportunity to become champions.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have a transgender runner who was complaining about not having enough opportunities in Division 1 NCAA athletics. And this person promised to be back in January.
It became clear that among all the hurdles transfers usually have, there is an extra layer because I was trans. 50% of the country banned me from participating, and that meant that I couldn't attend any of those colleges, even if they reached out to me with full rides. It also became clear that in the states that did, no matter how adamant the coaches were to have me on their teams, the college administrations would usually stop them from allowing me to participate. But we're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm sure come this January, you'll see me again competing on the track.
Already breaking records and humiliating the female athletes. Business as usual for these male athletes who insist on competing in the women's category, in the women's division, even though they know they have an unfair advantage, even though they know that they're in the wrong category, even though it's obvious that they can reach levels that they're unable to reach while competing against other male athletes. So in a recent meet, Sadie's spikes were broken, there were some issues, but of course, Sadie still managed to come first. Sadie Schreiner, a trans-identifying male runner who recently complained about not being able to get Division 1 athletic scholarships in women's track and field, is now bragging about beating female runners, even though Schreiner had a broken shoe. I Heart Bikes, great account to follow, they reported the following saying, "Male athletes are so talented. We see their triumphs frequently in women's cycling, but they're also super good at women's track and field. Sadie Schreiner had a poor start and his spikes almost fell off, but he still won on Friday. Those NCAA Division 3 women need to train harder." A male athlete competing in a women's division, we're supposed to ignore that and call it fair, even. Of course, there's no evidence of an unfair advantage. Sometimes the NCAA lets you down too. NCAA has let down the female athletes year after year, ever since they introduced this ridiculous policy, or basically saw the effects of their policy and did nothing. And even said that the female athletes should seek alternative arrangements when it comes to the locker room situation. The NCAA has let down their female athletes and continues to do so. The NAIA did the right thing a while back, and we're still waiting for the NCAA to catch up. Schreiner, born Camden Schreiner, beat all the women in the 200-meter dash, even without proper equipment. It's almost as if Schreiner has a biological advantage that having a broken shoe couldn't mitigate. So all of your testosterone suppressing rules under 10 nanomoles and all of that foolishness clearly doesn't seem to level the playing field. Because even a broken shoe doesn't level the playing field. It's an absolute mockery of women's track and field, of the women's division. So Schreiner has competed for RIT in 2 200-meter dashes so far this season, winning both of them. No surprises there. On Friday, Schreiner captured another women's record. Women's records are being altered forever, and the NCAA is sitting back and doing nothing. Compete in the men's division and then film yourself, and let's see how well you do. I would love to see how that goes. Redux reported a trans-identified male runner set 2 facility records at the Rust Buster track and field meet on January 17, Brookport, New York. Sadie Schreiner of RIT Tigers boasted about taking first place in the women's 200 meters and 400 meter races. An article posted to the RIT official athletics website titled Schreiner and Harkless Named Athletes of the Week appears to have been taken off the site. However, it appears Schreiner was named an Athlete of the Week in women's track and field despite being a biological male. See, they're trying to carry on as normal and act like this is some phenomenon, wow, this athlete is amazing. Athlete of the Week, of course, goes to this person because look at their time, they broke records. They're acting like this is a female athlete and we're supposed to pretend that the person isn't male, and that is the reason why the person is coming first and breaking records. Ignoring the elephant in the room. You know what I call that? Delusional. Of course they had to take it down because they're embarrassing themselves. Carrying on like that, as if this person is the same. Camden Sadie Schreiner, a man pretending to be a woman, recently broke multiple women's track records after competing at a New York college sports event. Camden is reportedly ranked number 1 in Division 3 women's 200 and 400 meter dashes, and he was named Athlete of the Week for women's track and field. This man is taking away the opportunities and accomplishments of real women. This needs to end now. The quickest way to end this nonsense would be for women to simply refuse to compete against men. Exactly, it's not like they're going to win anyway. Not complicated. Well, yeah, we saw the boycotts that happened recently. They outright refused. And I think when it comes to NCAA sports, we probably need to see more of that in order to see some real change, to turn things upside down, as it did with volleyball. He is absolutely shameless, and every adult who encourages this is a complete disgrace and betrayer of women and girls. He is a grifter and a cheat. That is the bottom line. So this person will stand on the podium waving a trans flag. Schreiner is a 2-time All-American in women's track and field and appears on the way to a 3rd straight All-American honor. So this is something that has been taken from women at least 2 times. More than likely, it's going to be 3. The athlete continues to put up record-setting numbers against female competition. Of course, like many transgender athletes, Schreiner says that there is no advantage to being a male competing against female athletes. To Schreiner, it's simply hard work and dedication that has created athletics opportunities. So Schreiner's time in the 200 was 25.17, 1.5 seconds faster than the second place. However, that would have ranked Schreiner 29th in the men's division out of 40 runners. You're at the NCAA Division 3 level, and if you rank 29 out of 40, that's not half bad. But of course, Schreiner wants to be number 1 and is even willing to compete against women in order to do it. Schreiner could theoretically race against men and not be the last place finisher. Instead, Schreiner elects to race against women and win. Exactly. And the NCAA enables the whole thing. So this is where we're at now. After Trump's election win, after the executive orders, we have had many wins in the fight for women's sports. But clearly there's still a long way to go. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.